All right, I'd like to welcome everybody to the Coaches in the Mouth pod. This is Coach Jeff Williams, along with Coach Daryl Fimple and the Mouth Brent Bender, and from Varsity Vibes, Alyssa Orange. This Coaches Pod Network is powered by Lindsay and Associate. Varsity Vibes is powered by Lewis and Automotive. Let's get into it. 6A. Now, this is one I've kind of been waiting on. I think this whole thing shift with the different changes in the conferences a little bit. Let's start in the 6A East. I mean, the coaching part of it, Searcy coming into that deal with Zach and then Sylvan Hills getting a new coach with Coach Trey Shucker, uh, Kevin Kelly sitting there, Claude Johnson coming to Marion, West Memphis on another deal, and then we got Brett Shockley coming into El Dorado, East Washita, longtime offensive line coach. This is Benton has dominated this a little bit. Are you surprised Marion's picked by the coaches last, where they've been up at top? Benton's picked first. They're picked first, number one overall. What's your take on this 6A East, Daryl? Looks like a lot of great coaching and a lot of good playing.
Yeah, I mean, you look at they got El Dorado 6, and I think El
Yeah,
Dorado could be the shocker of everybody.
I agree.
In years to come too, with Shock, and they also have the largest coach in the conference. Coach Shock
If you
is a
want to
giant.
fight if you want to
Yes,
fight a
I
staff, do
mean,
not fight
yeah,
that staff.
you will
Yeah.
not. Yeah, you will not win that staff right there. Yeah, everybody stay on their own sideline right there. And I can't wait till somebody goes, "Hey, who's the head coach of El Dorado?" Well, that guy is
That
okay.
guy.
Yeah, I don't want to shake that guy's hand, but yeah, Benton. Of course, Benton's got a lot to replace too. Now,
I
defensively,
do.
they don't, but offensively, Drew Davis graduates. They've got some, offensive line. They lose two of those guys up front. Sylvan Hills loses the professor, but still Isaiah Howell's back there, still explosive at the wide receiver spot. Defensively, they're really good. I
Yeah.
mean, Sylvan Hills has got some kids back on the defensive side of the ball. Searcy, though, I think Searcy, I don't understand that, but I think Searcy is the clear favorite in my mind. It's another year of, hey, Coach Clark's not screwed up. All
Hey,
right,
let's put
we got,
pressure on this
yeah,
guy, man.
put a
Put
little
it on him.
pressure on that guy, but
Yeah.
the defensive tackles and their defense is really, really good. And then the sophomore quarterback who's going to be a junior this year coming back, and they can run the football. So Cersei, I think they're my pick in the East, and then I think they have a chance to win the whole thing. And then Sheridan, you never know. I mean, they're going to score 9,000 points. It's whether or not they can get some stops in this league there, but it's going to be that top. Like I said, you got Marion down there in the
I know
eighth
that,
hole,
yeah,
and
they're unbelievable.
yeah, I mean, I don't even get that. So I think this is a tough league to actually pick, but I think Sylvan Hills, Benton, Searcy, I think all those guys got a chance at the playoffs. This is one of those you get the
Yeah.
playoffs, you could knock off some people on the other side pretty quickly. But I think Searcy's the clear favorite in this thing.
I don't think there's any doubt about it. Mouth, you're close to that Searcy bunch. You live there. This 6A East looks loaded. You're close to El Dorado. You've been down there, seen Coach Shockley's bunch. Talk to us a little bit. This thing looks loaded.
It is loaded from top to bottom, and the coaching in that league at the head coaching position is incredible.
Yeah.
I believe there's not a bad head coach. There's great head coaches at every school in that conference.
Yeah.
Um, I think Cersei's by far the favorite because Cersei is a bomb just waiting to explode at any time. They've got the best. I'd go on record and say if they don't have the best skilled people in the state, I'd like to see the team that's better. Uh, they're really good. They're really good on defense. Quarterback's coming back for his second year of playing, and they're coming off a 9-2 season last year. And
Yeah, and they're bumping up. A lot of people say they're bumping up from 5A, which 5A is really tough, but I think they're hitting it at the right time. Six guys back on offense, nine back on defense, and their front's really good. Kevin Kelly's another one. I think look out for those guys at Sheridan. He can score points, but Alyssa, your take. Benton's kind of been the top of the crop about every year in this league, but it looks as competitive as it has been in a long time from top to bottom.
Well, I'm really glad that all of you guys agree with the fact that what's Marion doing down there at number 7?
My
They've got to
God.
you got to put someone in 7th, right? So I
Yeah.
guess Marion gets to be on the chopping block in the coaches poll before the season starts. But you guys are absolutely right. Like Benton is a team everyone has kind of really circled and had success with now here in the 6A Sylvan Hills and the great run that they went on, and then of course Searcy that got knocked out early and a little surprise last year. But I have just been really impressed with what Claude Johnson is doing over there at Marion. And quite frankly, just hand the ball off to Jeremiah Dent and just dare you to stop it. Like, I dare you to stop their run game. So that's kind of where I sit right now in this 6A East. Like, what exactly do you do with that? And I like exactly, what Coach Johnson is building over there at Marion. So maybe I'm crazy. Maybe at 8 is a little wild.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I'm excited to see how all of this shakes up because I know we'll get to it. The elephant in the room is that this classification doesn't have Shiloh or Greenwood. And it is wide open, whether it's coming from the East or it's coming from the West. It is anybody's game because those two teams are no longer there.
And it does. It keeps it wide open. No doubt about that. Let's go over to the 6A West. Let's move over here. A completely different league. You talk about a league that has just completely turned upside down. I mean, Greenwood, Shiloh's been dominating that league. 2 years ago, you had Christian and PA in there. Total different league. Mountain Home sitting there, has been as good in that league as anybody the last 4 or 5 years. They're not returning very many guys. Got a great defensive end back. Van Buren's a team I would keep an eye on. I think they've got as good as skilled people that they have. This group of this junior class is very good. Fort Smith Southside, up front wise, is as good as they were 3 or 4 years ago when Kobe Branham was there. They got 2 big time prospects, a young back. They could make some noise. Catholic coming down. Coach Bingham going to Lake Hamilton. Coach Hahn going over to Siloam Springs. Can they make a jump, get back in the playoffs? Derek Davis headed down to Russellville. And then we got Coach Murray at Southwest. So a lot of new coaches, a lot of new looks. Darryl, what's your take on this West look? It could be anybody's.
Well, that's the hardest thing to pick.
Who knows?
Because there's so many unknowns. I mean, if you look at the stability of both programs, Mountain Home's coming off of a historic run, but they've lost so many players in that run that's no longer there. I think Van Buren.
I did.
It hurts me to say, but Van Buren, being an Alma guy, it kind of hurts me to say that. But being a Van Buren, I mean, Hayden Williford's back. The quarterback is. I mean, he's got probably the most experience in the league. And then the Christenberry kids, over 1,200 yards rushing the football. And then defensively, they got some guys back on that side of the ball too. Got a 2-time all conference linebacker coming back. So I think Van Buren in the West, they are absolutely got to be giddy. They got to be giddy that Greenwood, just lost so many people in their population that they dropped. I mean, it was crazy what happened there. So I'm sure Van Buren is extremely excited. And then you've got Southside, like you said, they got an offensive line. They're always going to have offensive line. Got some experience back at tailback with the little guy coming back. So, they can make some noise in this league too. So it's one of those I think is wide open, to tell you the truth. I mean, everybody's kind of picking Mountain Home. But sometimes you get picked on what you did the year before, and people forget about looking at what you got coming back. So I really think Van Buren in the West could be the one.
I agree with you. And new coaches there, Lake Hamilton, Siloam, interesting.
I guess Van Buren's the only one with the same coach.
Well, and
just about.
Coach Dameron is now the lead. Has been there the longest in the league, which is nuts. Yeah, your take on this, Alyssa, is 6A West. It's a complete shakeup what it has been the last few years.
Man, I tell you what, the Bombers were so fun to cover last year. They are just gritty. And then you could talk to Coach Airy, and he's about it. Like, I don't know if there was a team that personified their head coach more than the Bombers last year, right? Like, holy cat, like, you want to talk about not getting into fights. Don't get in a fight with that Bombers team. But they did lose a lot. And so I'm really hesitant to say that they can repeat and then improve on what they did a season ago because of those pieces that were so critical to their success last year. So here's the deal. I spent some time with Coach Henry down at Van Buren and sat down with him. He used the word excited about 25 times. And he even joked, like, I need to get a thesaurus so I can find a new word that's not excited, but that's how I feel about my team. And he understands that, like, they did so much and accomplished a lot last year, did a lot of firsts in 20, 30 years. But at the same time, they still want to be able to host a playoff game. They still have so much more that they want to do. And the excitement, for lack of a better word, that he has down there in Van Buren, knowing exactly what's in front of him and what's not on the plate anymore for them. They feel really, really good about what Van Buren can accomplish. And they got some new turf too. So they're excited about it.
Well, they needed new turf. They need it's kind of rough over there a little bit. Mouth, what's your take? Talk to me, Mouth, a little bit about Southside. You're close to that program. It looks like Coach Stewart's got that offensive line back where it needs to be. Where can they fit? Can they make a run here?
They are big, they're bad, and they're going to be physical.
Yeah.
And, their way to win in ball games is getting in a huddle, walking out of the huddle, getting down, running the clock, and snapping the ball. We want to play about a 6-minute quarter when they're on offense. But for real, this is this conference. You can put everybody in a sack and shake them up, and they come out. It's very evenly matched conference, in my opinion. For the first, I mean, when Greenwood said we're losing population, everybody in 6A West said, "Thank you very much. Let's keep on going."
Alyssa, going to you first. You look at this 6A East. The overall 6A, the 6A East and West together. What are you seeing?
Yeah, well, so I'm going to say this, put it on the record now. I think that Van Buren hosts a playoff game.
Yeah.
I think that Searcy wins a state championship. And I think it's coming out of the east side when it comes to a state championship. So it's going to be a fun one. I think, again, wide open West, but that's kind of where I'm seeing. I see Searcy making some moves over there. So hopefully Zach Clark can give me a thumbs up.
We'll put the pressure on Zach. We check his work every week and
every week. He's highly scrutinized on the show.
Yes,
there you go.
Yes.
There you go. You heard it here first then.
Yeah. All right. Daryl, your take on
from here.
Yeah, I could see the East having all four in the semifinals.
Yeah.
I see it setting up that way. I just think that they're that much better on that side of the state. Jacob Miles back at quarterback is going to give him a chance. Here's a name to listen to, though. Bryson Allen. He's kind of the secret weapon guy. 6'5", 220. I can't wait to see what Zach does with this dude. He can run it. He can throw it. He's a big dude. You could move him. You can move this guy all over the place. I mean, he's a big kid, just a sophomore too. And you got to think they got Shockley back, Smith kid, the Manning kids in the slot, and then defensively the Connor and Simmons kid up front. They just kept everybody clean in the second half. The Hickman kid almost led the state in tackles last year because nobody could ever reach the second level because those two defensive tackles. So I think Searcy's just too much this year. I think they win the 6A.
Well, the 6A, like I said, I agree with both of you. I think you could see four teams in the East. I just think depth wise, player wise, and everything that they can make a long run. But Van Buren's in that bunch too. They've gone over there the last couple of years and won playoff games on the road and done real well. Well, this 6A is going to be very interesting. Well, we'll get off here for Coach Jeff Williams, Coach Daryl Fimple, the Mouth Brent Bender, and Varsity Vibes Alyssa Orange. We'll see you next time.